And welcome back to the Inside Texas channel here with my guy. Actually, y'all know him. This is the biggest Texas athletic propagandist that there is out there in the entire country, Mr. Chris Marler. Thanks for joining me, my friend.
That's me. That's what I do.
Yeah, a guy that loves the horns, bleeds burnt orange, like most of you guys out there.
Listen,
But so,
I am an objective person. I like Texas this year. I think they're going to be good. I just when I see you in Tampa, I don't want to see a bunch of grown ass dudes fawning over Arch Manning. That's all. I mean,
um, I can't make any promises there. I mean, I was going to be
yes,
honest.
sir.
I'm pretty excited about the last year to watch Arch Manning and burn orange. You know, it's the only time we're going to have
Maybe
Manning. No, okay, don't start. Okay.
no. There's other like. Listen, we talked about this the other day. Like that kid Arch Manning. This shirt feels like it's like a magic eye or something on the screen. Somebody brought this up the other day, like on one of the shows I was on, where like he's got a great head on his shoulders. Even if he has a good year, I don't know if it's like completely out of the question that he would come back. I mean, like I fully understand what he can make in the NFL. He's never been somebody that's wanted for anything, never been like super concerned with money, has been very, very obvious that he's like willing to be patient for the right situation. So if he goes into a situation with his uncles as like his, like overseeing stuff, you think about what Eli did when he was going to go to the draft and how much they dictated and kind of maneuvered like through that whole situation where he didn't want to go to the Chargers. Like, I don't think it's a 0% chance.
I would agree with you. No, I have to, especially considering the fact that you just did the old San Diego and New York switcheroo.
Yeah.
Hey, especially when you factor in NIL, the fact Texas can pay you a little bit, you're going to have a lot of really good talent around you returning on that Texas offense. So, I mean, hey, it's not out of the question, man. Again, it's a different era, different age, different times. Real quick, guys, go ahead and take advantage if you have not yet, and go and join Inside Texas on 3. New sale though. You can do back to the dollar sale, guys. So take advantage for $1. No Nash Talks Texas here to pay for one of your subs, but just $1. Chris is a new guy on the channel. We're not going to ask an outsider to pay for one of you guys. So take care of it yourself. $1, get you a sub with Inside Texas on 3. You can go find out all the great transfer basketball portal news. I haven't seen Chris tweet one thing today about Texas basketball portal. So I mean, for such a big burn orange propagandist, he's struggling a little bit there. But no, hey, Sean Miller,
dude, love the class. Sean Miller is such an incredible coach. I love what they've been able to do in the portal. They're not messing around, and that's like where Texas should be for basketball. Even like I know football first there, but it's also like the epitome of an everything school. Like they should be much better at basketball than they have been, and he will get them there for sure.
I mean, again, I tweeted it out. I prayed my entire life for Texas to be relevant. Yeah, we had a good run in the 2000s where we made a lot of Sweet 16s, a couple of Elite Eights, and a Final Four. Relevance, that's not relevance. I'm not going to say Texas A&M or Texas Tech are relevant on the national college football scene because they made a first round of the college football playoffs. Go win. Go win. Want to win titles. Hang some banners. Earn it that way, but again, a different era, and so you're seeing all the talent Texas is bringing in. Probably not capable without NIL, transfer portal, of course, but hey, we got the right coach in there finally, and running things on the hardwood. So, but that's not why Chris is here. Chris is here. We're going to talk a little bit about, the NFL draft tonight, but considering it's kind of, it feels like the midway point of the offseason, seeing how spring ball just wrapped up a little bit or a few days ago, and now you have. This to me is the toughest break because it's not summer ball, man. You got baseball, you got basketball, you got playoffs, of course, coming up for those sports, but it just gets a lot slower in the college football world. So what better time to ask you, man? First thing I'm going to ask you is who improved the most? Now, kind of a tricky question. I'm not saying, who's best because of the portal. Who improved the most in the SEC throughout the transfer portal this year?
Oh, man, that's a very tough question. I mean, like, you could make the case for Texas. You could, but I think they were already going to be really good. But you went out and got a legit, like take the running backs part out of it. You went out and got arguably the best receiver in the nation outside of Jeremiah Smith. So I mean, like that part is really, really impressive. It's hard not to say LSU because I really like what LSU was able to do. Anytime you go out and get 3 of the top 4 players overall in the portal, and there are 3 players at 3 different positions that are all just so happen to be the 3 most important positions in football: quarterback, left tackle, and then edge rusher. That's a crazy good haul that they had in there. Outside of that, I'm trying to think about who, because I don't like Auburn has a $30 million roster. I don't feel like Auburn has a roster that's worth 30 million. You know what I mean? Like, and that's,
Yeah.
I think that's a different part that we're gonna have to navigate now in the world of college football. And you and I have talked about this before, I think either on this show or outside of it, where it's like that's becoming the norm. You think about what LSU spent last year on their portal class a season ago, which was ranked in the top, I think, 2 or 3 in the country, and that was 18 million. It was like, damn, they spent $18 million. Ohio State the year before that, man, Ohio State, the only reason they even won the national title, they spent $20 million on the roster. Oregon spent $20 million on the roster, and now you're just 2 years removed from that, and the numbers are over 40. And there's some people that think it's going to keep jumping. So I think LSU with what they spent, I think there's an argument to be made that like it wasn't as impressive because they just had an open checkbook. What they brought in, I think they're gonna compete for a national title right away. And then another one I'll give you, and this is oh, you know what? I want to give you South Carolina because I cover South Carolina closely, and I think they did a good job at what they were able to attack and get out of the portal. The answer should probably be Kentucky. And I don't know if Kentucky is going to be any good. It's like the bar is so low for them.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing about them in the portal alone. You had 29 players that got out of the portal. 20 of them were from the Power Four, and I think 13 or 14 are from the SEC. So, there's some guys like the kid that got the running back from Texas that went there. Like I think he's a former 5-star, right?
Christian Clark. He had a great game against Michigan.
Clark went to South Carolina. I'm talking about that kid.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Jesus, man. Now this is going to drive me crazy.
Baxter?
Yeah, Cedric Baxter. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Baxter's a former 5-star out of Edgewater, and then Clark was a 4-star from Arizona.
But I think that you also, do you see the second question in the chat right now?
Oh, I do. I'm going to get your opinion here in a second. We haven't forgot about you, Joshy. We got.
I love Joshy. He's great. But so I think that you look at a school like Kentucky and you talk about quick turnarounds. I think that my biggest takeaway from the portal era overall for 5 years, everyone who is sitting here thinking that you have some time to get things right, some time to implement your system, to get your guys in place or whatever, that is out the window. Because what Indiana did last year was completely kick the door in. And that was not oh yeah, they're a pretty bad team. Like they're Mississippi State. Like they're not. No, that was the worst program in the Power Four in the history of college football. And they did what we've all done in video games before. Like who's got fun uniforms and it's what I used to do with the UNC all the time when I would play,
Yep.
like on EA Sports and stuff like that. And they go out and win a national championship, have one of the top 5 seasons in the history of college football. And now you're going into this year where it's Lane Kiffin, I'm down here in Baton Rouge right now, and he's talking about you got to be patient. No, you don't. No one has to be patient anymore because you've shown that a year 2 coach with a transfer quarterback and a decent cast that you're supporting cast that you brought in can go ahead and be coached up and developed to win at the highest level. So that's kind of my biggest takeaway, which is I'll circle back to real quick to say Kentucky. I don't know how good they can be. I know that the bar is set so low, but who's to say?
That's the thing, though. The question is who can improve the most, and we don't know exactly what it'll look like. But
Yeah.
I do think there is more upside probably as far as win total goes. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kentucky go win 7 or 8 games. Honestly, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised either if they won 5 games. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're again, you don't know how exactly it is. It seems like the blueprint is out a little bit, and once Ohio State. And again, they brought in some elite portal talent the year they went and got everybody and won in the Natty. Dang it, Caleb Downs. Saw that tackle in the Cotton Bowl against Ryan Wingo on the screen in the open field again today. It made me sick. But anyways, and then you saw obviously Indiana, others have followed suit, and the price tag it keeps going up. At some point, does it ever stop, man? Is there
right?
Man, if somebody have 70 million worth transfer portal here in additions here in 2 years, I don't know. Real quick sidebar because we have to get it from you. 1 through 10, rate the last season of Traders, brother.
I'd say 8. It started out as an 11, and then as the thing went on, it was this hick from Alabama is going to somehow do. It was. I thought it was an 11 early on, and then it got into a point where the season where it was okay, Pretty Privilege has really taken over this show. Where everyone's it can't be Rob. Rob's so sweet. He's so cute. And it's this man's got a snake tattooed all over his body and his arm, and he's charming the pants off of you idiots. Literally, I think in the castle.
Snake handler for a living.
Yeah, it was crazy though. So I mean, I thought it was a good show though. Now we're I'm disappointed in you because I've tried to get this conversation going with you. We're a big Bravo house over here, so we're knee deep in the summer house scandal that's going on.
I don't know a single thing, iota, nothing, tidbit, anything, zilch about Bravo. But for you, brother, I trust your judgment. I'll check it out. I will say it was the most moronic group of faithfuls that we've ever seen. It was really, really, I mean, I was embarrassed for them. And again, Team Rob all day in this house. But the fact that he got through is crazy. Like, I don't get it at all. Like, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. Even the other faithfuls, I mean, who was it? It's Lisa and Candace. Like, they all played so bad. Like, the worst overall game, but it made for great entertainment, in my opinion. Yeah, again, a lot of fun though overall. All right, guys, we're gonna hear a very quick word from Luck's Kitchen and Bath, and we'll get back to talking some SEC football contenders and pretenders. And I'm wrong; it's not gonna be Luck's Kitchen and Bath. We're gonna hear from Dre the lawyer. My apologies, Dre.
Texans know when you're injured, there's one name that gets results: Andre the lawyer. Trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans win their injury cases. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what your claim is worth. Andre the lawyer will fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait. Call 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. Contact info is in the description.
All right, brother Chris, back at it. You know, you work in Baton Rouge a little bit. You covered the Tigers some. We're going to start with them. Contenders, pretenders, LSU. In regard to making the college football playoff, I think I definitely know what your answer is going to be here. So at the end, tell me, title worthy, title contenders in year one, but I definitely feel like, you believe they'll be contenders for the playoffs in year one.
So I think they're title contenders. I would have them, from a confidence standpoint, I would have them as the team I'm third highest on the SEC. I think that they can be the best team in the SEC, but there's two other teams at the top that I think they need to be knocked off before you would have LSU in year one with all this change, so like that. And I get to see them up close and personal. I'll tell you what, the first week we're out there, we went to Saturday scrimmage, and it was in Tiger Stadium, and it was brutal. It was not good. The offense did not look good. They were behind the defense significantly. Fernando Mendoza out here wearing a Rose Bowl shirt at the draft, just rubbing it in my face.
What happened in the Rose Bowl? I'm curious. I was really busy traveling, flights.
Ask the defensive coordinator, because he would love to talk about it, I'm sure. Indiana beat Alabama's ass in the Rose Bowl. So the practice was really bad, but then ever since then, they have had a very stark contrast on a 180 they've been able to pull in terms of what they've done offensively, especially. The defense is going to be good. Where I'm at this year with what I'm kind of buying into, and this is the question I see in the chat right here: who's the backup quarterback? So they brought in a kid from Elon his name's Landon Clark, undersized dude, good arm, but he's just he's trailed off, I think, as spring has gone on. Hussein Longstreet, if you would ask me in week one between him and Hussein Longstreet, remember, is a 5-star kid. I think he was out of Texas that he committed to A&M, went to Southern Cal. I don't think his arm talent is as good as Landon Clark, but Landon Clark it's more of a, listen, I can throw 97, I can throw 98. I don't have an off-speed pitch. Let's just see what we can do. And I think with Longstreet, if you would have asked me week one, I would have said Clark. Now it's been very clear that he has gotten some very valuable reps with Levitt being out as the backup. So I think also, you think about this, you and I have talked about this too. I think that's such a huge thing that he is going to, like Lane Kiffin and his team are going to be able to utilize, because how many quarterbacks for even contenders in the SEC have been able to make it through a full season without having to miss time over the past couple of years? Lenoris has missed time in South Carolina in 2024 and last year. I'm trying to think, like obviously Quinn Ewers and Archer.
This time, Gunner. Obviously.
Trinidad. The reason he even got onto the scene is because Austin Simmons, had the injuries as well. So I think that'll serve them well. But the big thing for me this year, man, is that the teams I'm buying stock into is, it's great what you can bring in from the portal, but how do you also how are you able to match that with what you have coming back, and then also the young talent you've been able to bring in? But especially that retention part of it. And I think what LSU has coming back, a bunch has been made out of the portal, but don't forget about guys like Trey'Dez Green at tight end, who's a freak of nature, complete mismatch. Whit Weeks, some guys in the defensive line, stuff like that, and in the secondary as well. They're loaded. They are loaded, I think, and across the board. So I'm big believer in LSU, and a very long-winded answer.
No, I mean that's what you're here for, brother. We love the in-depthness on those on obviously teams you cover, but you could do that for any team in the SEC. Obviously, ton of talent, man. Kiffin, hey, like you said, open checkbook. They took advantage,
Yeah.
and I think the big holdup on everybody for LSU, would be, hey, how does it all blend together in year one? Because you mentioned two other programs in the SEC. One, I would assume, it's Georgia, who continuity is a big thing going for Georgia. A lot of the familiar faces on the coaching staff, on that roster. It was a very young team last year. You talk about Texas as well, and that's something that Sark had really, really had going for him, continuity within that coaching staff. But now Will Muschamp comes to town in place of Peter Kwiatkowski. What do you expect in Texas and Will Muschamp's defense? I think, clearly you believe Texas is a contender, but what do you expect from the defensive side in year one, brother?
First off, I didn't say Texas was a contender, so don't put words in my mouth. Allow me to say it. I think Texas can potentially be the best team in the SEC. And listen, I say that in a room full of people that probably don't care, but I will tell you why you should. And that's because last year I did not believe in Texas at all. And I was pretty vocal about it, and I was not very, very much of a believer in Arch in year one. I just thought it was one of those things, much like DJ Lagway and some other situations. I felt like you really needed to see some things before we just went all in on like, this is going to be incredible, because it takes time, no matter how much talent you have around you. And here's the thing too, Lagway had a bad year, but he had Billy Napier calling his plays. You see how tough it is in this conference and like at that position to really go into year one as a starter and make such huge strides. Steve Sarkisian, in my mind, him and Lane Kiffin are the best two offensive minds in all of football. I think those two and Ryan Day are probably the three best play callers in the country. But even with a guy like Sark, he struggled a year ago. This year, I am all in on Texas. I think they're going to be great. I think offensively is where you're going to see them shine the most. Here's the thing. If I'm being honest with you, the Will Muschamp thing does not move the needle for me. That does nothing for me. And it's not because he used to be the coach of South Carolina. He's a great defensive mind. I am very much pro and in favor of term limits in Congress and politically, as well as SEC assistants. And the fact that Bobo and guys like John Chavis and guys like Will Muschamp are just constantly getting jobs, it cracks me up. I think he's a very good defensive mind. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because I don't know if his best days as a defensive coordinator are still here. I don't think, it's been a while since he's been like a defensive play caller, like the sole defensive play caller in this league. And we saw what it was like at Auburn at times before he went to South Carolina. And I know he was an analyst on Kirby's team, and it's a great defensive mind, but we're very far removed from that clip of him punching the whiteboard. And so I just don't know if it makes a huge difference this year. I hope it does for Texas. I mean, I hope it does. They don't play South Carolina. They don't play Bama. I cannot wait to see. Hopefully I'll see you in Baton Rouge when they come here. But it doesn't really move the needle for me as much as I think it is for some people in Austin.
I mean, and again, it's a fair question. We ask the same questions. We weigh pros and the cons of the situation, and it's a fair question to say, hey, what does it look like with him as a sole play caller, the sole schemer? Yeah. Of course, it's not the sole schemer. There's other people who will be involved, but what does that look like? Because we haven't seen it, and offenses have evolved, a ton, obviously, since Will Muschamp was in charge of a defense again. So very fair of you. Again, I knew you'd be honest with us. I knew you were you can believe Texas is a contender, considering you are one of the bigger propagandists out there for the Burnt Orange. So
they're going to be good this year, man. They're going to be. I hope you guys don't do what Indiana fans are doing to me right now, which is like last year when I was like, yeah, I don't know, man, Indiana hasn't played anybody. And that was a factual thing that I said in the summer, because they hadn't. And then like by the time the season started, I was like, man, they're really good. I'm getting dragged by Indiana fans for these like old takes that were like still factual takes at the time that they were brought up, like before the season. I hope I don't get a bunch of Texas fans in my mentions. I don't need that Nash guy in my mentions at all. I don't want that to happen.
Nash slander here on Inside Texas Wild. Hey, and it's probably going to happen whether you like it or not. Nash is coming for you, brother. Don't tweet about Texas baseball. That's how that happens.
I forgot about that.
Don't do it.
It was
That's
right around
happen.
this time last year.
Yeah, just saying, man. You learn your lesson the hard way.
Yeah.
But yeah, real quick, guys, can hear from David McClellan, and we'll get a few more words in from our guy, Vern Funquist.
Big financial decisions don't have to feel overwhelming. There's someone who can guide you every step of the way. David McClellan is a fiduciary financial advisor with Forum Financial, and he's working closely with his clients as a true financial life coach, guiding every aspect of your financial journey with expertise and care. If his name sounds familiar, that's because David was a swimmer at Texas and a member of several national championship teams. Today, he channels that same championship mindset into helping people win with their finances. David specializes in financial planning, and he's contributed numerous articles to Kiplinger on the topic of retirement tax bombs. And right now, David is offering viewers a free intro consultation to assess your financial situation. Do not miss this chance to get personalized guidance from a trusted expert. To schedule your free consult, email David at dmcclellan@forumfinancial.com, or you can call him directly at 312-933-8823. The contact info is in the description.
As always, man, we're going to get a couple of words from you regarding some of our rivals here. I hate how much I like Mike Elko, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I know that you're a pretty big fan as well. What's A&M's upside in 2026? I think they did 10 wins. Okay.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I don't think – I'm going to pull up the schedule.
It's a lot more difficult than last year, but to be fair, going into last season, their schedule appeared to be pretty difficult.
They should have lost South Carolina. I'll say that for the 1,000th time. Yeah, dude. So I know that there's the two games I need them to lose more than anything for my own well-being. I need October 24th and November 7th to be losses for these two. One, October 24th, day after my wedding, 6 months from today. Very excited. Shout out to Allie. I look at this schedule and I think they are going to start out 5-1, but I would not sleep on that Missouri game. Very odd placement of the Citadel in October 17th before they play Alabama, but elite job from whoever decided to put that together. I look at them and I think I've said this over and over, and A&M fans have gotten upset about it. And I've said they're going to take a step back. Well, what's a step back? You just had the greatest regular season in program history. I don't think you're going to do that again. The one of the things that made them so great a season ago, and something you kind of referenced with George earlier, was the continuity of the staff and then some of the other stuff too, where it's like this game, I hate cliches, but like the thing that is like very much ringing true constantly in this league is that games are won and lost in the trenches. Well, last year you had 177 combined starts going into the college football playoff across your offensive line. That's gone. Like that is completely gone. Wilkin Formby, I know they paid him a ton of money. I know he was offered a ton of money to go to LSU the year before from Alabama. Also a very good point. And so I just don't see them winning 11 games in the regular season. Now, they could be good enough to get to 9. I look at this, I see them starting out at 6-1. Maybe you make the case and say they have to go 3-2 down the final stretch, but I see more than 2 losses in there. I don't see them beating Texas. I don't see them beating Oklahoma on the road. Also, what a brutal close that is. I think Tennessee's going to be much better than people realize for. And I'll tell you right now, there is a loss, at least one loss, in between Alabama, Carolina, and Tennessee. And this is – it's nothing bad about Marcel Reed. I think Marcel Reed's great. I love what they got with Isaiah Horton in the portal. But again, you went into last year with your same offensive coordinator and then an offensive line that was I think it was the only one at the end of the season that didn't have any sort of like juggling across the positions. Shouldn't do this. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like it was like I mean the continuity they had up front, and then also from your offensive coordinator being back, and now he's gone. Like that is not coming back, and neither is Casey Concepcion. And I think that losing a guy like him and Cassius Howell, it's kind of absurd to think that they're going to waltz into a 10-win season just because they did it a season ago. I don't think it's going to happen at all.
I mean, I agree with you, man. Again, Elko's going to have a bunch of guys on defense, some that obviously are no names at the moment that come out and they're household names in the College Station, a couple maybe, across the college football landscape, but it's going to be hard to believe. That's the big thing for me. Holman Wiggins, like, dude, you could see a situation in which hey, maybe the offense doesn't fall off too much, because I love Isaiah Horton. I really think he's a great talent. I'm a big fan of Mario Craver. I like the guy at the backs. I think KJ Edwards will play a lot as a freshman. I'm not a huge Holman Wiggins guy. And I don't know if you see maybe if there's a drop off as much this year as it would be the next year, or if A&M goes out and tries to find an actual OC instead of staying in house. Like, I don't know. So I was very anti that move when they made it.
Yeah.
That's the first like really kind of head scratcher I think that Elko's made. But you got to get Chris out of here. So I want one more take real quick, Chris.
Yeah.
Same question, Oklahoma. What's their upside? You see another playoff berth in their future?
Buddy. I hate that we're ending on this. Oklahoma's going to be good. Oklahoma's going to, like, I was not as much of a believer in Oklahoma last year. They shocked me in that game against Tennessee. That was more shocking than the Bama win, I think, because I know it was on the road, but Bama, like, you look at Bama and they have 3 turnovers, including a pick 6, and they do everything they can to kind of take themselves out of that game. I look at Oklahoma and they don't have any losses that were super significant from in the portal. Like, they didn't lose anybody that's like, can't replace that. And our Mason Thomas, like, leaving, I think is going to be way more difficult to replace in his production, especially than maybe some Oklahoma fans realize. But they are loaded. They are loaded, and I felt like Satanga coming back, Mateer, like, we got there's the arguments we made for Mateer about, we saw him in September and he was great, and then he fell off. Well, he also fell off when they had good competition. Like, that's there are moments where if, like, John Mateer could have been a Heisman front runner, and I think he was at one point. And it wasn't just the injury that limited him. Like, there's his own, ability, like, limited him. And again, that was the other thing I was very vocal about last year, which is, it's awesome what he did at Washington State, but this is not that. Like, you played one Power 4 team on that schedule. This is not that. So year 2 with him, year 2 with Arbuckle. I don't know how many trick plays they're going to run on the sideline to cheat Auburn out of wins this year. I don't know if if that'll be a staple in the rotation. But I will tell you, as much as I hate to say it, I think Oklahoma's going to be very good.
I don't love where our rivals are at as far as like their trend lines and where they're at with their coaches. Again, I was one of the guys who really believed, along with like Ian Boyd here on Inside Texas, the longer Brent Venables stayed at Oklahoma and the longer OU gave him, the more powerful he would become. I mean, he's going to get his type of guys in there on that defensive line. They are loaded on defense, man. They really, really are.
Wait, so hear me out real quick on this. But, like, because I see some of the comments too, it's like they have no run game until proven otherwise. Z replaces significant production. The defense is loaded. You're right about the run game. You know who else didn't have a run game last year? Alabama. Alabama ended up making it to the second round of the playoff. And, like, Oklahoma didn't have a run game at all last year at any point, except for, I think, when they played South Carolina, because, of course, that's what happened, and it was brutal. But I look at that team, and I'm like, there's a lot of teams that I will talk about. Texas is one of them. LSU is one of them. And there's a couple other ones, South Carolina, I feel like, where it's like, hey, if you can score 28-30, I think you're in a really good position to win, because your defense and your coordinator for that you have on defense is probably going to keep whoever your opponent is to under 20 points. Like there's a lot of teams, like, I think LSU is going to be like that. I think Texas will be like that. I think Georgia clearly. I think Alabama could be like that, and I think Carolina is another team as well. Tennessee is another one in that same group. Oklahoma's the other way. Oklahoma's like, can you score 17? Because I don't know if Venables' defense is going to consistently give up more than that. And, he might against Texas, he might against Alabama, and maybe when they play, I think they play LSU this year, but actually maybe they don't. But either way, I think that's the way you look at this, where it's like, hey, man, if you can keep them under, or if you can somehow manage to score 21 points, there's going to be a really good chance that we can win, because our defense is probably not going to give up more than 20.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I genuinely hate to do it with you, man, but the defense is Brent Venables' defense. It might not be exactly the same. The fall-off won't be significant if there is a fall-off at all. You can't expect Mateer, in my opinion, to there's going to be some type of progression there whatsoever. And so, yes, exactly that. Look at the Auburn game. Look at the LSU game. Look at I don't know what other games there are in their schedule that they won. Michigan. They didn't have to go score a lot of points to win. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, if Venables is going to have that type of defense that's holding everybody down. I mean, Texas won by 17. We only scored 23 points. Like, if Texas scores 23 points against Oklahoma next year, it could be a coin flip type of game. So, yeah, that's good.
Just don't bring out 50 Cent anymore. And you guys might be okay. Don't bring up 50 Cent if you're Oklahoma.
You're talking to them, yeah. Okay, that's not us.
Yeah.
Again, that was a wild. That was wild. Again, I swore by my deathbed that Oklahoma would beat Alabama. That opening round of the college football playoffs, and I felt like a really smart man when that game was 17-0, and I felt pretty dumb by the end of it. But for some reason, like, and again, I missed the end of Alabama season. You think you just talked about them making the second round? I'm gonna go Google it after this and see what happened.
Are you? Is this how you want to end me coming on your show?
I mean, you just got on here and had to tell me how, and I feel the same way, but you had to confirm my feelings about A&M and Oklahoma being pretty dang salty next year. So yeah, that's how we'd have to throw one dig in there.
Right, we'll end it on that.
And we'll end it on that. Bravos pod, Traders pod, something else coming outside of sports talk with me and Chris. I'll stay tuned. But no, Chris is he's great. He doesn't hate Texas the way that you think he does, guys. He is objective. He's a realist. He's going to call it how he sees, and it's going to change on a daily basis. Look at the double horns, and he's even got the Burn Orange name on his tag on his banner. Go find him on Twitter and have some fun. Vern_fun_quicks right there. Chris, as always, man, love having you on here. Love you, brother. Thanks so much. Go enjoy your evening. Go watch the NFL draft, guys.
Love you.